Air New Zealand flight NZ642 from Queenstown to Christchurch to Wellington on Saturday the 18th of July 2020 on an Airbus A320 scheduled to take off at 7 AM, the first flight scheduled to take exactly 1 hour and the second flight 55 minutes. We booked these flights as directs in December 2019, which is before the global pandemic, and things have been pretty disastrously chaotic for airlines since then. We ended up flying from Queenstown to Christchurch to Wellington. We know that we're super lucky to be flying at all. The flight booking was altered 7 times by Air New Zealand before we even got on, and we spent about 20 minutes when checking in for the flight down, sorting out this flight on the way back. It was all a little bit chaotic, and so when we checked out the booking inside our apps, it looked like our seat details, some flight details, even the aircraft type had fallen off our booking, and it all made me a little bit anxious that things were going to go totally sideways when we checked in. But they didn't. Because we thought we might have problems, we went to a human at the premium counter and they sorted everything out, and check-in was super smooth. What wasn't so super smooth was the fact that we'd accidentally left a bag at our accommodation and I had to drive back and get it, making us almost absolutely the last people to go through security and get on the plane. Oopsie. And despite me specifically asking, nobody had got any footage of the check-in. I was a little bit sad about that.
No one got any footage, did they?
What the hell?
Yeah.
One job.
Did anyone get any footage? No, I don't know.
So instead of any chicken footage, you get to hear the chicken story as told by my wife.
I was so focused on that chicken.
Oh no, well done. Well
But
done.
what I did is I went straight to premium. Premium goes booking reference. I gave them the booking. I haven't said any more. Yes, that's 40 Wellington. My first choice was, I'm going to sit booking. Did all that. He goes, how many bags? I'm like, 5. 2 on my booking. He goes, what's your name? Just like nothing.
You got my boarding pass?
Yeah, but there was no one helping on kiosk. We didn't see us. I didn't see one.
Slightly surprisingly, there was still a bit of a line to get through security, but unsurprisingly, due to the amount of electronics and doodads in my bag, I got it checked by a human being. Boarding was almost complete when we got to gate 2.
Morning. I'm lucky lass.
We scanned our boarding passes and walked over the tarmac and onto the plane. I personally found this super exciting. Nothing quite like getting up and personal with the outside of your plane. I do enjoy it. I really do. So not only were we almost the last people to board the plane, but we were sitting 2/3 of the way down the aircraft in row 19. That's right, we were those passengers. So we shuffled down the aisle, trying really hard not to hit people in the shoulder with our bags. There was this one random guy trying to go totally the wrong way. Never got to the bottom of that story. But at least the computer had sat us all together. Good work, computer. Well, almost together. My wife was window and I was aisle, and there was some random between us. I then did a swift negotiation with the guy who was in middle so that my wife and I could sit window and middle, and he sat on the aisle.
Are you? Yep. So we're there and there. Do you mind sitting in the aisle? I really like the window.
He seemed cool about it, and I really do like the window. We were delayed a little bit because they had to de-ice the plane. The last time I remember this happening in a plane I was in was when I was in Chicago about 20 years ago. Somewhat exciting, don't you think? According to FlightAware, we pushed back at 7:21 and it took us 13 minutes to taxi out to the runway. I suspect some of that taxi time was consumed with the de-icing, and we took off at 7:34.
You ready?
The stuff they used to de-ice the plane left little specks on the window that didn't disappear until well after takeoff, and in fact it streamed and smeared and made it a little bit icky. But the dawn takeoff was very, very pretty. You can see the moon and some planet out the window, as well as the lights on one of the ski fields. That's probably Coronet Peak. Cool! Queenstown Airport has 2 runways, but only one that's suitable for an aircraft of this size. We taxied from gate 2 over to runway 05 and took off towards the east. Immediately after takeoff, we did a 360-degree turn as we spiraled upwards to get up over the mountains. That was super cool, and the views out the window were somewhat jaw-dropping. Just spectacular. Okay, onto the snack. The cabin crew were really helpful and polite. 55 minutes isn't quite long enough to get a tea and coffee service, so we had a biscuit and a cup of water. Water. No matter what angle you shoot it from, it's water. 5 out of 10. Onto the snack. Cookie Time have started doing these golden chewy oat cookies, and they are fantastic. Just like the Anzac biscuits I remember my mummy making. Thanks mummy. Thanks Air New Zealand. So you can rest assured that this is a taste of New Zealand from a classic Kiwi company. 8 out of 10. Whoa, nice one Air New Zealand. And lollies on descent. That's a +1. Straight after takeoff, we did that awesome climbing turn, more than 360 degrees. Awesome. Then we headed to the northeast towards Christchurch. We made a slight left-hand turn and came into Christchurch on runway 02. We then taxied over to gate 17. For the first little bit of the flight, the mountain views were amazing, but there was cloud cover over most of the rest of the journey. We stashed a couple of views, but mostly just clouds. And then we came into land. We departed Queenstown 21 minutes late, and we arrived at the gate in Christchurch 16 minutes late, so we made up 5 minutes in the air. Nice one. Over the wing you could just catch a glimpse of all the planes Air New Zealand has parked up here in Christchurch due to the impact of the pandemic.
Warm welcome to Christchurch everyone. For your further safety, please remain seated with the seatbelt fastened till the aircraft has completely stopped and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. And it is now safe for transmitting functions on your electronic devices to be turned on. For those of you continuing on this flight through to Wellington, we do ask that you remain on board. It will hopefully give us a speedier departure as we're running late. We do ask please that you just remain seated as the aircraft will be recatered. And for those of you getting off, we may use the rear door as well today. So if you're using the rear stairs, please take care and use the handrail provided. Follow the clearly marked path to the terminal. Electronic devices must not be used until you are well inside the terminal. Thank you, Matewa.
And we're off. Well, no, we're not off. We're sitting on the plane while other people get off and then yet other people get on. From my seat behind the wing, I get to watch a little bit of activity as I take baggage off and put new baggage on. And then we get on our way in a second sector from Christchurch to Wellington. We push back from gate 17 at Christchurch Airport at 8:54 AM. That's 19 minutes late. We then taxi for 11 minutes.
Very good morning again, everyone. My name's Ruth. I'm your flight service manager. Flight attendants, please go to safety briefing position.
While taxiing, we get a better view of these parked up planes. The one on the front here isn't prepped for long-term storage, and it was only here for a couple of days. I couldn't get the tail numbers of the two at the back, but the second one here at the front, its last flight was on the 28th of March, and its next flight was on the 16th of September. That's 5 months and 3 weeks sitting here in Christchurch. You can see it's all prepped up for long-term storage with covers on the engines, the wheels and the windows. I can imagine tensions were pretty high in that last flight just before we went into lockdown.
Flight attendants must now be seated for takeoff.
The wind had changed while we were on the ground, and so we taxied from gate 17 over to runway 20 and we took off to the southwest. After takeoff, we did a right-hand turn and then tracked northeast to Wellington. Second sector, second snack. Alright. No hot beverages this sector, just water. Alright, both snacks.
Thank you so much.
I did it for you so you can see what they're both like. Honest, wasn't for me. We have 15 grams of tasty cheese Mexicano corn chips made from New Zealand grown non-GMO corn in a factory just outside of Wellington. We have a cookie baked by Cookie Time golden chewy oat cookie baked just south of Christchurch from local and imported ingredients. And we have New Zealand water served in a plastic cup poured from a plastic bottle, but definitely from New Zealand. Nice. The corn chips are mini corn chips. They're fresh, crunchy, delicious. A++, would eat again. They're really good and quite moreish. 15 grams almost isn't enough. 8 out of 10. Delish. My second golden chewy oat cookie in 2 hours. Just as amazing as the first one. 8 out of 10. Oh yeah, nice. And the water, yet again, was water. I struggled to give it anything other than 5 out of 10. So 5 out of 10. Okay, let's sum up those snacks. So on the first sector we had water, which got 5, and the chewy oat Cookie Time cookie that got 8. Fantastic. On the second sector we had mini corn chips, which got an 8, the same Cookie Time cookie which also got 8, and the same water, well not the same water, but also water that also got 5. So that averages out to 6.8, which we're going to round up to 7. 7 out of 10. Good snacks in New Zealand. Awesome work. Okay, onto the plane. This plane, ZK-OXE, is an Airbus A320. It was delivered brand spanking new to Air New Zealand in 2014, making it 6 years old when we take this flight. It's configured with 171 economy class seats, with seat pitches ranging from 30 to 33 inches. I vaguely remembered that Air New Zealand have slightly more space on the right hand side near the front, so I went to their website and they have this awesome little thing where you can see the seat pitch for every single individual seat. So I mapped it. And, well, the seat pitch on Air New Zealand's domestic A320 fleet is complicated. So take it as read that they have slightly more space on the right at the front. I was seated just behind the wing on the right hand side in seat 19F. A seat pitch of 31 inches is a little bit tight when you're 5'11" and want to put a bag at your feet. But if there's space in the overhead and you can get your bag up there, and they will easily take a standard cabin bag. There's plenty of space under the seat in front for your laptop bag, your handbag, or whatever other knickknacks you might have. The seats themselves are perfectly comfortable for a couple of hours. The overhead panel has fresh air, a call button, and a wee light so you can read your book. So a 6.5-year-old plane that's well maintained and clean and tidy, that's an 8 out of 10 in New Zealand. Well done. After trekking northeast up the coast of the South Island, we do a couple of right-hand turns and come into Wellington from the north. The cloud cover breaks and we get some really good views over the coast and the city. Wellington Airport has one runway. We land on 16 and taxi over to gate 22, which is at the northern end of the terminal.
Very warm welcome to Wellington, everyone. For your further safety, please remain seated with the seatbelt fastened till the aircraft has completely stopped and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. And again, do be careful when you open the overhead lockers, as items could fall out. It is now safe for transmitting functions on your electronic devices to be turned on. We may disembark today using the VSTs as well as the forward air bridge. If you are using the VSTs, please use the handrail provided and take care. Follow the clearly marked path to the terminal, and no electronic devices must be used till you're well clear of the tarmac. Finally, we trust you've enjoyed your flights with us this morning. From all of the Christchurch team, it's been a pleasure to have you on board. Again, we do apologise for the slight late running of this service.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome to Wellington. Just got a couple of minutes before we can shut down the engines and turn the seatbelt signs off. Just waiting for some gate guidance here. Should we spend a couple of minutes in the meantime? Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Thank you.
We taxied for 6 minutes and pulled up at gate 22, 16 minutes late at 9:46. A benefit of sitting in row 19 is that we have plenty of time to look around while everyone else gets off, and we notice that there's really very few other planes here. So we disembarked and we head over to baggage claim, stopping for a quick look back at our plane as we go. All of our bags were there, which was totally awesome. So let's sum up as we collect 6 people's bags and ski gear and make our way out to the car park. We flew 2 sectors, so we had 2 snacks. There's 2 waters, 2 cookies, and the corn chips. That 2 snack average, 7 out of 10. Now I'm fully aware that I'm about to average an average, which makes my math just a little bit ropey. Yes, it does. And the plane, a well-maintained, clean and tidy 6.5-year-old A320 with a friendly and attentive crew. That's an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Awesome, Air New Zealand. That's an average of 7.5. Good work. And then there's the lolly, which got a +1 bonus. +1 bonus. 8.5 out of 10. Outstanding, Air New Zealand. And totally awesome to be able to fly around New Zealand when many other parts of the world are still grounded. Awesome. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and then watch every single video we've ever made. And every one we will make. Thanks.